Okay guys, what we're going to be doing here today or over the next couple days is replacing this cross member and repairing this tank support area. Been known to go bad in synchros. I'm no expert and it's the first time I'm doing it, but let's figure it out together. Okay guys, here we are. We're going to start cutting it out. Okay guys, today, and it is the next day, we have to clean this up, this area here. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to splice it in yet, but either way I have to take off these old pieces here, which is spot welded on, trim this lower section here, and I have to do the same on the other side. So I guess stay tuned. So the thing we do, we have to drill it with a 1/8 drill bit. Princess Auto has these double-sided drill bits. They're really good for this. If you're in Canada, Harbor Freight, I'm sure we have it in the United States. Likewise, this is a spot weld cutter. You can get it on Amazon, Harbor Freight, Princess Auto, all those places, or even your favorite welding supply shop. Now, very rarely are you able to cut it clean to the point it falls off. That's where we need to take a air chisel and give it a little bit of help. There you go. Here we are at the next step. Here's the old cross member, as you can see. That is in pretty rough shape. Common for synchros to find them like this if they've been in cooler climates that use has to do salt control or ice control, I should say, in winter. So some of the work has already been done. These here are the drive shaft protection brackets. On the original install, they're welded in. You can buy aftermarket ones that bolt in. These had to be cut off. Then we take a little bit of Lexan or heavy plastic, whatever you have, and you make a template. This is what you use to pick up the holes, because the transmission brackets are not in a two-wheel drive cross member. Now, saying that, I don't know if the new ones you buy from companies like Brickworks or that has those holes all pre-drilled. I can't tell you. However, I couldn't get a shipping quote out of Brickworks for this piece, so I ended up taking it out of a two-wheel drive parts van I had. So then you take your template, you bring it over here, and you use a drill with a 1/8 bit to drill your pilot holes. You don't have to go all the way through, just enough to mark the metal, and then of course you remove that, and you drill your final holes. From there, we have to bolt this to the cross member. Actually, let's go this way. This one's here, and this one's here. We're going to bolt this to the cross member and flip it upside and weld the nuts to the inside the frame. This one's actually in really good shape, so I had to use some paint remover to remove the paint on the inside so I can weld the nuts. This blue tape, as you can see, is the lines where I have to trim this to fit it in the vehicle. Originally was hoping to try to use part of the frame rail, but the tolerances are too tight, so I'm going to have to remove the frame rail, the old frame rail, before it can go in. So anyway, let's trim it, and as I go along, I'll try to show what I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, see you soon. Okay, the next step in our process is to trim the cross member to fit. So I cut the band itself at where it transits from the frame to the outer lower controller mount. So I know approximately where it needs to be, and so I marked it. Let's cut it. Trim. Soon we have to see how it fits into the vehicle. However, first I have to do is remove this frame piece. So we'll use a similar procedure that we did with the pieces on the frame. Drill the spot welds and separate the pieces. I've cleaned up this crossmember quite a bit since the last little bit of the video. I still will have a little bit of cleanup on the edges to make it fit once it goes into the vehicle, and a little bit of grinding here and there to remove the old spot welds and that. Next thing we have to do is to attach the hardware for our transmission mount. This is a two-wheel drive crossmember. I believe the ones you get from Brickworks and places like that are also two-wheel drive. but they all can be mounted to four-wheel drive. We transferred our holes using our template like we discussed, and I bolted these brackets to the cross member, and now we have to weld the nuts so that when this is installed in the vehicle with the flooring also installed, you can bolt your mount to your cross member and take them off as needed. Like I said, I already put the nuts in here, and I actually doubled them up just to make a higher nut, so corrosion won't be an issue in the future. Okay, our nuts are welded in now. When this is put in the vehicle, I will also come in and when it's in, before the floors are in, I'll paint this up to treat any bare metal that's created from the paint removal or the welding. So, we're almost ready to install this in the van, or pickup, I should say, as I have a Doka on my right now. Okay, here we are again on our Doka. One thing I didn't mention to you guys is that before we put this in place, we have to drill holes so we can plug weld it back into the frame. The original install had it spot welded, but obviously we're not able to put a spot welder on this because we're not actually building it from frame up. So the best we can do is drill the flanges. The angle brackets that are attached to this are formed with it with 5/16 or 3/8 holes. Then we plug weld it to simulate the spot weld. You can see we use a transmission jack to push it in place. If you do the same, keep in mind there's no weight back here, so minimum pressure, because you don't want this to fall on its nose off the lift if you're on a lift, or fall off the jacks and while you're under. So be very careful with how much pressure you put on this when installing it. Now we're just going to plug weld the bottom section to hold in place. I'll remove the jack stand, the transmission stand, or I'll lower it down. I'll crawl into the chest and weld it on the inside the frame. And then it's ready to have the floor installed. This is a little bit of a time-lapse photography here. You're not seeing everything in the entire process. There's weld here to the frame. Each of the lower mounting structures got at least one plug weld. The 4 flanges inside have at least 2 each. And I've put a couple tacks for good measure. This is nice and solid now, ties in. The transmission will bolt to this. I still have to do some floor repairs, as you can see. I salvaged the panels from a Pentagon 2-wheel drive, the same thing that this came out of, to make patch panels for the chest. I'll repair that, put the tank saddle back in here for the synchro tank, and we should be ready to go. I did not weld where the frame to the outer frame meets, due to the fact I'm probably going to go in and replace metal in the inner rockers. It looks great from the outside, but with an inspection camera I put in there, you can see that it's pretty corroded back here, just at the back where the suspension mounts. So obviously this is going to be a daily driver for me. I want to fix that up, so I'm going to have to cut all that out and replace that metal and make it strong again. If you guys want to see more of this build, let me know. In the meantime, I'll be talking to you later. Have a great day.